Hello, everybody. I'm Mark Bryant, Director of Multimedia Development for the Big South Conference. Time once again to discuss what's coming up. The Big South Network Guide for the week of the 10th through the 16th of February. The Big South Network presented by State Farm. And you find the Big South Network where else but BigSouthSports.com, the home for everything in the Big South Conference. We'll talk more about our website and services later on. Let's get into the schedule right away. Again, I'm Mark Bryant, Mark B at BigSouth.org. You can also email us BigSouth@BigSouth.org. Jumping into the men's play for this week, and a quick review of the standings because that's important as we look at these matchups. Coastal Carolina 13-0 and rolling at the top of the standings, no doubt about it. The Chanticleers have been amazing this season. Right behind them, Liberty trying to keep pace, 11-2, which would lead the conference most years. But Liberty's only 2 losses to Coastal Carolina. So right now you have a 1, you have a 2, and then who's 3 and 4? That's a real fight because the top 4 teams at the end of the regular season will host first-round tournament games. And that's big. So we shall see because right now 3 teams are tied for third. Asheville, Charleston Southern, Winthrop, all 7-6. High Point says, hey, we're right behind at 6-7. So with 5 games to play, you got 4 teams within a game of that third position, third and fourth spots. I say all that to point out this because we begin Thursday with Charleston Southern at Winthrop, 2 of those 7-6 teams. That could be a big one. We'll welcome a Mid-Atlantic Sports Network crew there for Masson covering the game, and of course we'll have that right here on the Big South Network as well. Sunbelt Reynolds scholarship presentation. State Farm folks will be there. Big time to be had at the Coliseum in Rock Hill. Charleston Southern at Winthrop, 7 o'clock tip. All the Thursday games are 7 p.m. starts. Coastal Carolina at PC. Radford at Liberty. It's a classic rivals there, but of course right now, as this season has turned out, Radford 2-11, Liberty 11-2. So sort of photo negatives right now. High Point at VMI, and High Point again trying to stay in contention. VMI, a game behind High Point, would really like to get that leg up and pull into that group. So again, big Thursday here in the Big South on the Big South Network. Now jumping ahead to Saturday because we've got some more big-time matchups there, and 5, all 10 teams in action here in conference play. Radford at VMI, that's the one early game. That's a 1 o'clock tip. And from there we go to evening games across the conference. Charleston Southern at PC, 7 o'clock, also 7 for Coastal at Winthrop. You talk about a rivalry. This is 2 fan bases, 2 schools that historically don't like each other and collide over and over again. Always a good game. So will Coastal have its win streak intact coming in? Will Coastal have its win streak intact coming out? Winthrop, of course, famously ended Coastal's run last year. Coastal regular season champs of a season ago, but not tournament champs. Winthrop took that in Coastal's house. Always a little bad blood there. So Coastal Winthrop at 7, and then our remaining 2 games at 8 o'clock, Asheville at Gardner-Webb, and High Point at Liberty. On to Tuesday, and you say Tuesday? Yes, I know it's a little unusual to have a full schedule on Tuesday, but they're not doing it on Thursday to make room for the Bracket Busters. First, let's talk about Tuesday. Gardner-Webb at Coastal, 7 o'clock start. Also 7 for Winthrop at High Point, Liberty at VMI, and PC at Radford. The 7:30 start, Asheville at Charleston Southern. Now, as I mentioned, the Bracket Busters coming up, the Sears ESPN Bracket Busters. Some big matchups against foes you don't normally face, and 1 TV game out of that group. We have 4 hosting. We have Liberties at home. We have Winthrop and Asheville and High Point, all hosting games, and we'll have more on that for next week. But be prepared because all of those will be streaming except for the Iona at Liberty game because that will be on ESPNU. All of that Saturday the 19th, just giving you a heads up that the Bracket Busters event is right around the corner. So let's turn to women's play for this week. And again, just a heads up on where the teams are coming in. Liberty 8-1, Radford 7-2, Gardner-Webb 6-3. Those are the only teams with winning records in conference. It drops down from there. Charleston Southern, High Point 4-5, and then beyond, we go to Winthrop, PC, Asheville, Coastal in that order. The matchups for this week, there's one to watch in this Saturday group here for sure. Get to it in a second. Winthrop at Coastal, like I said, classic rivals, 2 o'clock tip there. PC at Asheville at 2 o'clock. 4 o'clock start for Charleston Southern at High Point, and then at 5, Gardner-Webb at Liberty. They've met for the last 2 titles. Liberty won both. And every clash they've had in the regular season during this stretch has also been one to remember. We'll see when Gardner-Webb and Liberty clash in Lynchburg Saturday, 5 o'clock. All 7 o'clock starts for Valentine's Day. And there they are. I'm getting ahead of myself on the graphic. PC at High Point, Gardner-Webb at Asheville, Winthrop at Liberty, and Radford at Coastal Carolina. So those are your 8 games in women's basketball to go along with those 14 we talked about this week in men's basketball. So what do we still have left? Well, I'm glad you asked. I gave you a little tease there of it before, but yes, it's wrestling. Wrestling. We've got 3. We actually have 4 Big South teams involved in 3 matchups to be shown here this week. And starting out with Friday's App State at VMI, a 7:30 start, and then Sunday, VMI at Liberty. Again, wrestling not a Big South sport, but we do have a couple Big South teams involved. And that'll be 3 o'clock on Sunday afternoon. Wednesday, the 16th, this cycle, this week we're talking about, closes out with Davidson at Gardner-Webb, a 7:30 start. And it's not just wrestling this week, it's also lacrosse. We have women's lacrosse for the first time from High Point. Virginia Tech at High Point, getting that program started. We look forward to seeing what will come from the Panthers and their lacrosse program. Saturday the 12th, 1 p.m. start, and that should be an exciting one from Vert Stadium in High Point. Now, all that said, how can next week get any bigger? Well, we'll still have men's and women's basketball, and we will add to that mix baseball and softball and swimming and diving. It is time for the CCSA Swimming and Diving Championships. I'll be bringing you the announcing for that event for 3 days from the Aquatic Center at the University of Georgia in Athens as we crown our champions in a variety of swimming and diving events over the course of 3 days there. This will be the 4th annual CCSA Championship as these teams from various conferences who do not have enough to have their own conference championship vie against each other for these regional awards. The Atlantic Sun, the MEAC, the SoCon, and the Big South all combining for the CCSA event. And we have that available by the day or for the full event now. You can order that at BigSouthSports.com. And the baseball season packages are up, and the softball season packages are up. So jump in there because this is the time to get on board. You want to get the most out of your subscription. You can do that. Get all the games all season long in those sports. And it's hard to believe, but it is time for that already. And we'll have more on that next week. So you say, how do I order this? I want to be part of the Big South Network on Big South Network presented by State Farm, and there you go. You can subscribe by the game, by the sport, by the season, by the year, whatever your needs are. We've got something there to suit you. All these events available individually, or you get that full season run of a particular sport or combined sports in our seasonal passes, like the spring pass gets you baseball, softball, track, and you also have the opportunity to get a full year subscription, which is of course your best value when you're looking at like 700 events in a calendar year, and that can all be yours for one order. You can find us on Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, and Blogger. All of those link from BigSouthSports.com, the mothership of our online family. Of course, if you have any problems, again, with the streaming, something to remember, the tech support, fan support line, 877-967-3267, or fan support at newlion, NEULION.com. And again, I'm Mark Bryant for the Big South Conference and the Big South Network presented by State Farm. Enjoy the games. So much to choose from. I hope you have a wonderful week, and we'll talk to you again next time. Thanks.